Ruthless fans, it is good to be back. Like I said, if you watch my If Loving You Is Wrong trailer breakdown for Under the Influence, towards the end of that video, I went into detail about how the copyright thing got squared away. My videos are back on the channel and monetized. But even though it seems like I do have permission, I'm still, sadly, I really am sad, I am going to still refrain from not using the Ruthless theme song in my videos. Trust and believe, it felt good to hear it again when I was watching episodes 5 and 6 on BET Plus earlier today. And, well, actually a couple hours ago. But, yeah, episode 5, The Chosen. Let me just say, it was a blast to watch these episodes back to back. It really felt like, when the show first came out and we got 3 episodes at the same time. But in The Chosen, 9 out of 10, a lot happened. And yes, I will be doing separate reviews for episodes 5 and episode 6. So don't worry, even though I am tempted to cram them into one video, I feel like they deserve their own separate videos. Because guess what? Remember, go back to the first week of Ruthless. I did 3 episode reviews. I didn't just do 1. But we go back to Ruth being seated, and she is crying. She's not happy. The highest calls out Andrew for allegedly faking. Sorry, my cheers. Given the fact, okay, sorry, quick segue. For those asking, I do plan on fixing my chair this weekend. I made my eBay run this morning, and I set it up where I can just have USPS come by my apartment to pick up my items from now on. So a lot of things are being set in motion, meaning that I can actually stay in my apartment even more than I do now to get things done. So just wanted to let you know. And I actually ordered DoorDash earlier, got me some Chick-fil-A to celebrate the success, and this lemonade is good. Sorry about that. But Andrew's called out for faking. He's like, I'm sorry, I just had a long day. And then he's like, he kisses him saying, hey, he just says he's beautiful. And then Daikon goes first, and it gives apparently Andrew enough time to erect. So that's, I ain't gonna lie, I was cringing during the open. I'm like, ugh, I don't know if I can make it to the theme song. Jesus help me. Because Ruth was just, I'm like, yeah, now your eyes are open like tallies apparently. Now that you know what's happening, 7 rings. All right. But then when the sun go down, down, we got a theme song. Yeah, I really do wish I could put in the video. But Ruth is upset the next morning. She's talking with the eldest mother. Yeah. Basically, she doesn't want to drink the concoction that will apparently help her become more fertile after what happened last night. And Ruth wants to know how many women were chosen before her. It doesn't matter, my child. There are only few that are chosen. How many? It doesn't matter. That's a recurring theme about within these 2 episodes here. A lot of people are asking the right questions, but they're not getting any answers. Keep that in mind. Ruby is still a bit uncertain about the cult itself. Basically, Ruth is wondering how Callie's doing, but Ruby, it will come around apparently. And apparently, obviously Ruth is still abrasive as to what's happening while the elder is just putting her in her place. And Ruth has to actually cook a meal for Tally. And if Tally doesn't get back in line, then she'll be judged at the stoning place, I believe. So that ain't going to be good. Ruth is still pissed, but she knows that stuff needs to be done in an orderly fashion. So she kind of calms down a little bit because it's like, go take a bath, then fix the meal for Tally. I know it's probably not a great impression, but hey, I'm relatively new to the show like everyone else. But yeah, she's basically having her eyes open as to what's going on, which begs the question, is this how Tally came to find out what was going on? Like after she went through the elder process and then her eyes maybe were open and it's like, hey, this is what they're going to do to you. It's like, no, I'm good, girl. And then it happens and then she's pissed. But we go over to Brian and Lynn, who's preparing to go up to meet with the sheriff in Rockwell, Virginia, to go undercover as a deputy to visit the compound. And guys, I'll say this right here. I did my entire timeline video. And if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it because it's back up on the channel. It's like 75 minutes long, but in the video I talk about how or does Tyler Perry's Ruthless fit into the timeline of the Oval? And in that video, I go over details about how, well, there are two key things that need to happen in order for things to actually make sense, such as the woman that Barry identified at the police station as Ruth. Is that really Ruth? Maybe we can take some liberties and say that it wasn't. But when it comes to Tally, she needs to escape the compound, go to Nancy's house, and then the next morning kill herself. However, it's the next morning, and that still has not happened in episode 5 or episode 6. So right there is a major plot inconsistency. However, I enjoyed the episodes regardless because I tried not to think about it too much. But trust and believe, there will be a separate video that will not be 75 minutes long, but I will have to talk about how this don't make no damn sense. However, it's still a good show. It just doesn't make sense in terms of timeline. So, Brian's getting ready to go. Lynn's still a bit abrasive, in terms of Brian interrogating her when he's just actually asking a couple of questions. He's obviously concerned. And something interesting that happens is, who's Daikon? Huh? You called out his name while you were sleeping. It's like, do you remember anything about the compound? She went from saying, I don't remember much, to saying, I don't remember anything, to saying, I don't remember much. And he suggests, hey, can you go back to the doctor just to make sure everything's okay? It's like, no, I'm fine. Stop asking me. It's like, okay. So as soon as Brian leaves, which I believe it was kind of sunny outside, which is kind of weird because he should have hit the road by then, because it takes about a couple hours to get from DC. We learned in this episode that he's from DC, and then he goes to Rockwell, which is about a 2-hour drive. Because remember, I did the research in that timeline video. I told you I did my homework. And from there, we actually have where Brian actually leaves, and Lynn checks on the computer and finds a video about the cult. Pretty much, the highest. The highest is one hell of a speaker in regards to, selling the cult to people. It's like, no, we're not some kind of crazy cult. We're a family. About, our own, religion and healing and medicine. And if you want to know more, contact us. It's like, dang. It seems like one of those infomercials that you see on TV at random, like at maybe 11:30 p.m. or in between those infomercials from back in the days. Like, for $19.95, you can own this 20-disc collection with over 200 love songs from some of your favorite artists. Tell me, how am I supposed to live without you? Just to be close to you, girl. You know those commercials I'm talking about. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you. All those songs sound like they're stalker songs, but they're actually very catchy. I need to put this lemonade down. I don't know what they put in that. Anyway, going further. Oh, actually, it's kind of ironic. On my Chick-fil-A bag, it said, be the light. And then the Rackadushis are all about enlightenment. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm having some fun because I haven't done a Ruthless video in a while. That's probably what's going on. So, we get to the sheriff's office. Brian arrives. He talks about how he's from DC. He's, golly. Okay, so I believe Irene is the name of one of the officers, and Poke is the name of the other one, who's a bit, I guess you could say, more aggressive towards Brian. Almost like, you're coming in. It's like, so what are you doing coming from a big town like DC to a big city like DC to a small town like this? And it's pretty. Actually, we did skip a lot when you think about it. We went from Brian being at his house, and then we're jumping after his 2-hour drive. So, gosh, I swear I don't want to dwell on timelines. I'm sorry, this video is getting too long. Okay, so he pretty much, introduces himself. He goes talk with the sheriff, and the sheriff already knows what's down. Like, hey, change to this outfit. We'll be ready. I'll be waiting in the car for you in a few minutes. And he's like, okay, we'll go ahead and do this thing. And he calls Lynn to see how she's doing. She's doing laundry. Not really. And Lynn's still like, look, I'm fine, okay? And then, okay. So he hangs up. She's folding laundry and she's either folding or, well, yeah, I think she's folding, obviously, because the basket's right there. Damn, I got to fold my laundry. and I'm here recording this video. I'm going to get wrinkles in these shirts. Okay. So she looks in her pocket and finds, I believe, like a card with Daikon's phone number on it. She calls it, and he's saying, lick the paper. What's on it? Lick it. It will remind you of everything you forgot during your journey here. I'm not going to lick it. And they pretty much go on a back and forth, and then she hangs up on him. Ruth sees the elder mother to make the meal for Tally. Pretty much, I believe this is our first time in the kitchen area, and Ruth's as well. And she's learning the process about how everything is cooked and everything and prepared. We see all kinds of different ingredients. Some things need to be put in small doses. Others, you can use teaspoons. Each one obviously has its own effect to keep the people docile, if you will, or happy during their time in the Rakadushi compound, or as I call it, heaven. I die for the highest. And let's see here. Tally, she wants to know. Yeah, basically Ruth is making the food for Tally, but once again she's getting no answers in regards to what's exactly what. Like anytime, I mean, obviously I'll be asking the same thing. If you're telling me not to put too much and don't sniff this, like what the hell is it then? Don't worry about it. Okay, dang. So they talk about how Tally better be in line when the sheriff comes, or there's going to be some trouble. And then the eldest also goes on to say, like, I'm the only one that prepares the meals for the highest. And Ruth's look on her face and the tone of her voice is almost like, well, damn, if Ruth was preparing the meal, it might be something that would kill his ass. But she goes on to say that her name was Marva. I think I called it. I was talking with Chandler briefly. I think he mentioned it, but I jotted it down without really looking at my handwriting. But apparently she was a computer analyst. The highest came to a coffee shop, invited her to come here and speak. And then after that, she felt free. And even though she's a mother in high ranking, she wasn't one of the chosen to carry his seat because, well, she's too old. But at the same time, she feels very free within the compound. Then we have Brian, who goes see his new desk. You know, Pope talks about, actually, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead of myself. Yeah, Pope talks about Brian's choice coming to this small town and pretty much brings up the cult and talks about how, hey, don't worry about the Rakadushis, they're my beat, basically meaning like this is his case. And then the sheriff comes and tells him, hey, are you ready to go? And then they go off. But remember, those two don't know they're going to the compound because the sheriff's like, hey, just keep between yourself. I don't even know. My wife doesn't even know about what's going on. So then Ruth goes to talk to Tally about the whole situation with the food, has the meal for her. And thankfully, Ruth lets her know, hey, girl, you're right about everything. And then Tally's like, hey, Andrew is in on it. And she could tell her about the whole situation about, what happened with the 7 rings. But basically, as soon as Ruth brought up that Andrew was one of the rings, then Tally's, oh man, oh my God, they got to him too. And now Tally, who was carrying the child, is like, I don't know if I can trust him anymore. And then Ruth brings up the fact that the juice and applesauce for the kids and everything, that stuff could kill them if there's too much stuff put into it. So Tally needs to act in line so they can come up with a game plan. So basically just put on a good show that you're repentive. Well, I think that's a word, that you've repented, that you want to do right, that you'll behave when the sheriff comes and everything. And we got to think of something. So Tally's giving the rundown about how, Daikon has these keys that can hopefully get them to the kids due to the fact that the kids are always separated from the parents. It's like now that they both have their eyes open, they got to come up with a game plan because the odds are obviously stacked against them. It's hard enough trying to escape on their own, but trying to get their kids is going to be an entirely different obstacle in itself. Let's see. Yeah, it's weird because didn't they say something like the cult itself does not believe in homosexuality? Or I guess you could say they condemn people who are homosexual, yet the certain activities that happen within the same gender, specifically the men in the cult, they don't see anything wrong with it. I think that's when they're talking about the subject of the highest giving his seed to the men and whatnot. That's not a bad thing. Daikon, that's not a bad thing to bring up. That's a good point. Daikon pretty much comes in, as always, like, you've been in here long enough. Okay, dang, man. So basically just once again reiterating the fact that Tally's sorry. Get off me, woman. Okay. And then he tells Ruth to leave, and I'm thinking, oh crap, is Daikon going to beat her up or something again? Nope. He just looks at her, leaves. And that's the end of that scene. Even though Tally should be gone and possibly dead at this moment. Well, definitely dead because the other hang on, I'll save it for the end of the episode. Never mind. Basically, we get Lynn getting a call from Cynthia, a new character who I know played on House of Pain at Floyd's Barbershop. Her cousin actually wants to, talk with her. It's like, hey, you missed our cousin lunch, and you never miss it. And she's pretty much being rushed off the phone by Lynn because obviously she's still hung up on the whole Daikon, the card, and the cult conversation. So then we have Brian and the sheriff on their way to the cult compound. The sheriff feels uneasy about this whole situation, especially the cult in general. He doesn't want to take a call. Oh, sorry. Brian misses a phone call, even though the sheriff tells him to. It's like it was Cindy obviously calling about Lynn's behavior, but he doesn't pick up. And the sheriff asks if he's carrying, and he's like, "What? Why do you think anything's going to happen?" And he's like, "I don't know. It just could go south." Well, sir, don't worry. It should be routine. I had 7 years in the Marines and 6 in the FBI, and pretty much, Brian is convinced everything is going to be okay, but the sheriff and, everything will be fine and done by the books, while the sheriff is a bit uneasy about the whole situation. And I mean, based off all the weapons we've seen these guys carry, I would be too. So then we have Ruth and Daikon once again talking briefly. She wanted to thank him for last night. Looks like she's trying to flirt, pretty much enacting phase 1 of the plan. And it's almost like, she's saying that it wouldn't be a surprise that you will be the one who gave me the seed because you're special. And then Daikon's like, don't never speak of this again. So I don't know. It's interesting to see a dynamic between the two because she said, I'm an elder now, so we can speak freely. Yes, I know you're a man, but still, let's talk about last night. Then we go to Tally and Andrew. She tells Andrew she wants to stay at the cult. Apparently, she's trying to push him away due to her certain distrust now because of the fact that he was one of the 7 rings. So basically, Tally's under the impression that Andrew has been compromised. And then the final scene, Sarah arrives at the cult and then sees Andrew through the gates. And I'm like, holy crap. What an ending. So overall, 9 out of 10, I thought it was a solid episode. And like I said before, the time frame is a bit wonky because the sheriff told Brian to show up before 10 o'clock when the other deputies and everything get there. So he said be up there by 8. But given the fact that Ryan got there and then Polk and Irene, or wait, was it Irene? I think Irene was the name of the female cop. They were there. It's possible that he got there at 10 o'clock. I don't know. It was late. So it was after 8 a.m. And then, times. Ugh, this is so confusing. But overall, guys, this was a great episode. Worth the wait. And, if you can bear with me, I'm going to go ahead in this video so I can review episode 6, which has 2.5 pages of notes because a lot of things went down in this episode, in episode 6. So without further ado, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe and the bell notification icon if you are new to the channel. That way you don't miss out when I post new content. On top of that, check me out on social media. Links are in the description below. And if you'd like to donate anything to the channel via PayPal or Cash App, the Cash App logo should have popped up at some point during the video. PayPal, there's a link in the description below. And you can follow me on Patreon. I really appreciate it for as low as $2 a month. Shout out to the patrons over there where I make content exclusively for Patreon that I don't post here on YouTube. So all that's to say, if you haven't been watching Ruthless, you need to watch it. It's great. And I'll catch you all in my episode 6 review for Lost.